Hiya, Doc. Welcome back to a Watch Me Work video, and I am going to do some beautiful wedding nails. These are not your average wedding nails. These are unusual, bespoke wedding nails, and I'm changing the shape of the tip. So using my cuticle cutters.
I would never have said that these were going to be wedding nails because I actually wrote chains and skulls as the title of this video.
Oh, that's why they are different. So this lady wanted something very different. Her theme for her wedding was sort of boho gothic kind of feel. I've got a sculpting form on the end of the metal files because it's got the measurements. So what I can do is check that the tips are all the right length. So she wanted quite a lot of the colour and the glitter. So the smile line isn't massively deep, but it is still an extended chevron smile line. But we've got to get this shape done first, because if you don't get these tips shaped first before you put product on, then you've got to do a lot of work after. Then we're going to put the acrylic on. So what I'm doing here is creating the chevron smile line. We're going to do it in 2 beads. So the first bead will do the most distal point of the smile line. So that actual sharp V-shape chevron smile line. And then I can go on and do the second bead at the cuticle area. By doing all the nails this way, I can check that they are all at the same length. So when I say the same length, I mean the smile line is the same length down the nail.
Like the depth of it, yeah, I get what you
mean.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I'm going to go on. So I've used Bare Booty, but then now I'm actually using Striptease. And these two together look absolutely stunning. It's one of my favourite combos. And they look seamless. And the reason I'm putting Striptease at the back, you could also use negligee as well. This is another cover powder that we have that you could use to get this effect. When you file the nails, you don't have this real hard, highly pigmented sort of line. I describe it as like a bit of a tide line. If you've got a really highly pigmented product at the cuticle area, you'll notice this if you ever use black acrylic. When you place that at the cuticle area and you come to file it, it's very difficult to get that border really neat. Plus, when that grows out, you have that hard line as it grows out, and that's not what I wanted. I wanted these to grow out and still look really nice and more natural at the cuticle area. Don't get me wrong, they don't look natural because nails don't grow this shape, and they certainly don't grow this colour, but I wanted that grow out to be really nice. And I'm filing the chevron smile now at the point where it's set. So the product's set, and it allows me to then come in and I can create a nice sharp V.
What would you call this shape? Is it a modern almond, or is it a
gothic almond?
Gothic.
Yeah. So this is a gothic almond, which obviously goes with the theme. And I loved it that, her wedding was so different. And I should actually find you the pictures that she sent me of her in her, her wedding dress. And
oh, that's cool.
Everything looked, her hair was so nice, proper like boohoo. Some people have wedding hair and it's really symmetrical and super neat and everything like that. It wasn't like that. It was like very hippie boohoo kind of hairdo. Absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to do the same on the other hand. So again, we're going in with our first bead, creating the most distal point of that smile line. So now I'm going to go in with black acrylic. And what this is going to do is really emphasize that chevron smile line, because I want it to go like cover pink, bam, black, and then the color. So that darkness around that smile line is really going to emphasize the shape. So I'm going to do that on all of the nails. At this point, you don't need to get the black and blend it out and things like that. It just needs to be right up to the wall of the acrylic, just so when we file through, it's giving a lot of depth in that area and a lot of contrast. I'm using the Alicia brush, which is a size 12 pure Kolinsky brush. It's actually double-ended as well. So you have a 3D brush on the other end, which people actually really find useful, not just for doing 3D, but also like tidying up their acrylic work, because they've got this little sharp, pointed brush, so they can like neaten up areas, especially around the cuticle and things like that. Now, when you're putting this on, make sure you go right up to the ears of that chevron smile. And the ears are the section of that chevron that's closest to the side wall.
I have never heard you use that term before, the ears.
The ears or the
I've
wings.
been working with you for 7 years and never heard that.
I mean, yeah.
Nah, never.
I think it's something I use a lot when I'm teaching, but it's the ears, or sometimes we call them the wings. They are the highest point, or some people might think it's the lowest point, but it's the point where it's closest to the side wall of the nail. Hopefully that makes all the sense.
It does.
Because sometimes it just don't make sense, you know. I do it in my own head all the time.
Haley just sent me a message earlier on, and she was like, then she sent me another message saying, that made no sense, did it? And I was like, I kind of got the gist.
Then we're going to put on some gorgeous, it's like a purpley fuchsia acrylic powder. This is an Alchemy one. Forgive me, I can't remember the colour of it, but it is lovely because it's purple, but it's also a little bit fuchsia-y as well, because it's got different tones of glitter in it, but it's really going to go with the flowers. So when this lady came and we discussed what kind of nails we were going to do for her, we'd go through the different aspects of her wedding. So there was the flowers that she's going to have, the styling of the wedding. It was even like an outdoor wedding, and it's not the warmest time of the year, but at this point we were having a bit of a heat wave, and then she was worried that everybody was going to actually be too hot. And she was like, I didn't plan this. I was planning for just like quite a normal weather, not super hot. Another colour, this is purple, and it's got like, so you can see the difference in these purples. One's more of a fuchsia purple, one's more of a bluey purple. It's more of a cooler tone, and it's got an iridescent shimmer glitter running through it as well. So when putting this on, we're going to make sure we kind of blend it out a little bit. We don't need to go too crazy, but we need to make sure that the contact between both colours is blended. So the fuchsia purple is blended into that cool toned bluey purple. And I would say that putting these colours down is probably the easiest part, because we've already got the tip on there, we've already got the shape. So some people get scared of using, you know, coloured acrylics and things like that, or doing design work, but this is actually probably the easiest part. Yes, we're blending the two colours together, but it doesn't need to be absolutely perfect. So it's an easy application. And then we're going on with this silver. Oh my god, this silver, and I find this with loads of silver shimmers, they are sometimes they're really easy to work with, sometimes not so much. But what you do need to do is lay it down quite thin and blend it back. One thing you will find with a silver shimmer that's packed with pigment like this is it will stick to your brush, and it will get into all the little hairs of your brush. So make sure once you've put like this kind of acrylic on that you really do clean out your brush. But you can put this on really thin, and the reason I've used this is not just because it looks gorgeous, because I want it to be quite thin at the tip. And then we're picking up some Mylar with clear acrylic, and I've used glass slipper, and that's going to add even more texture and depth to the nail. And it's just like another dimension, taking you all to another dimension.
I don't know why, right? But they're giving me sort of Doctor Who vibes.
Really? Why Doctor Who?
Doctor Who, like there's a lot of blue and purples in sort of the things, and then the silver, like the what they call the something men, Cybermen. I don't know why. I think they're lovely, and I'm not trying to say it detracts from it, but yeah, it's just giving me Doctor Who vibes. Maybe it's because there's been Doctor Who in the news quite a bit over the past few days.
I don't really watch a lot of Doctor Who, to be honest. I've seen little bits, but I'm not a Doctor Who kind of gal. Yeah. So I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. So because we're doing kind of layering, it's important that those purples and the silvers that we put on before weren't too thick. If you make them too thick, and then when you cap this design, which I'm going to do now, we're going to cap in clear. When you actually come to file it, you'll end up hitting the coloured acrylic, so like the glitters and everything like that, and you don't want to do that. So it's important for this stage to be a nice clean application, just to reduce the amount of filing that will be, be needed. Make sure that we cap the black section as well. Everything needs to be capped, and we're going to sculpt the shape. Kit Kat's just gone on the roof of the conservatory.
That's brilliant.
She's trying to get into Alicia's room. Oh yeah, she's in. One in Alicia's room.
At least she knows multiple ways to get into the house.
I love it, to be honest. In summertime, we have the window open.
That's why they call people cat burglars, isn't it? Because they can get in anyway.
She's in. And you'll notice that when I put the acrylic on, I kind of start at the distal point. So right at the tip. So when I say distal point, I'm meaning the furthest part away from the finger. So whenever I say distal, it's the furthest part away from the actual finger. So the very tip. And I'll start there because it's further away from the actual finger, so it won't set as quick. And then we put the next bead on to cap, and that's closer to the finger. So because there's a bit of warmth in the finger, that'll speed up the process. So I'm going to use the E-file now to smooth out. So this is the Purple Banded E-file, which is a medium grit. I love using this one just for shaping because I can just reduce a bit of the thickness down, but I can also shape the nail. But don't forget, we're going to go in with a hand file, and going in with a hand file is going to perfect it even more so. So this is you getting like a bit of any kind of bulk, just going to help you, because if you do the whole thing with a hand file, you're then putting extra pressure on your hand. So now we're going to go in that with the hand file, and this is going to perfect the shape. So this is where you really need to go to town, get your side walls nice and crisp, get that cuticle area nice and blended, and then you can do the length. I love going in with a metal file up the side walls just to make sure that they are super sharp. But yeah, you can use your 100 grit file, or you could go in with a 150 grit file. But because I know I'm going to shape, I'm just going to use the 100 grit file and then use the metal file up the side walls when needed. Sometimes when I watch these videos, sometimes I think, is this actually speeded up, or is that actually how fast I file? And sometimes they're not speeded up. Sometimes Adam hasn't even sped them up, and I actually think they look like they speeded up because, I mean, I do file quite fast. So this is actually time-lapsed and sped up.
That's definitely time-lapsed, yeah.
That is very fast. Not quite that fast at filing. So now I'm going to go over with the buffer, give it a nice buffing, and what the buffer is going to do is smooth out the nail. So it's going to get rid of any deep demarcations. When I say demarcations, I'm talking about scratches. So if there's any like big scratches in there, that will just smooth them out. So dust off. And then we're going on with ink, and we're just going to add like a bit of a pinky red tone. And I'm going to use some acetone on my Adam 3D brush just to sort of blend it a little bit. Then we're going to use some clear Acrygel. So the clear Acrygel is going to be laid on so it looks quite seamless, but it's thick enough to hold the chain. So this lady wanted to have dangling things coming from her nail, and I was like, are you sure? Because you're getting married and you're not going to get them caught. And she's like, no, I want dangly things coming off my nail. She even brought 2 like heart crystals with a hole in them. So what I did was I used the chain to actually hold the heart. So I got a ring, put that through the heart, put the chain on. So the chain's sitting in the Acrygel, and that's going to hold it on. And I absolutely love that these are somebody's wedding nails and they've actually allowed me to do this kind of crazy work.
That's unusual for a wedding, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, and
A little bit more
I like it.
and understated.
Yes, I love this kind of nail. Like, if you want your nails done and you want something a little bit different, come to me, because I want to do this kind of stuff. This is right up my street. So because the chain is sat in the Acrogel, we're going to cure that. But because it's sat in it, it's not going to go anywhere. So we're going to do this on a couple of nails. Some nails will have the dangly chain. Some nails will have just the chain. It's the middle nail that's going to have the dangly one. But then we want to tie in the chain. So what I do is I pull some chain, I press it into the Acrogel, and then I cut off the length. Rather than trying to figure out exactly how long that chain is going to be, lay it on and then cut it once it's on. It's far easier. And we're going to put some big humongous skulls on. Come on, we're really going to town. So you can see here I've got the rings, and then these are the crystals that she brought in. So I'm going to open there's a name for these rings. What are they called? They're actually called something. Somebody let me know in the comments, because I can't even think what they're called.
I have no idea.
They are called something. So I'm going to close that, make sure it's nice and tight. But then I was thinking this might open. What if she catches it and it opens, and then she's lost that crystal, and then it's all gone to shit. So what I did was I actually put a little bit of gel over the closing of the ring, so the gel would hold that as well. Then we've added a bunch of crystals. So these crystals are from Nailchemy. They do like loads of different crystals. They are like sort of cheaper, inexpensive crystals. They're not like Swarovski or Preciosa, things like that, but they are quite nice. I do like them. Then we're going to put the glossy top coat on. So this is the Kirsty Meakin glossy top coat. It has no sticky layer, which is brilliant. Super high gloss shine, sealing the nail, sealing the deal. We're going over the chain as well with the glossy top coat. This is going to add added protection. It's also going to seal the Acrogel as well, and it's going to make them long lasting. And look at them. What a beautiful combo of colours with dangly bits and skulls. So there you are. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Instagram and all that shebang. We will be back with more videos for you. Some will be watch me work and some will be studio videos. So check them out. Everything I've used today will be listed below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Ta-ra!